In this video, we'll work through the normalization exercise provided on Blackboard. Here we have a form from an art gallery that shows a customer that's made purchases of different pieces of art. So we can see that we have a customer name, we have a customer phone, we have what appears to be an address, and then we have for that customer a list of the purchases that have been made. And for each of those purchases, we have the artist, the title of the art, the purchase date, and the sale price. And here we have the description. The Gill Art Gallery wishes to maintain data on their customers, artists, and paintings. They may have several paintings by each artist in the gallery at one time. Sounds like we're trying to create an ERD almost here. Paintings may be bought and sold several times. So in other words, the gallery may sell a painting and then buy it back at a later date and sell it to another customer. So what we're going to do is take a look at this form and see if we can't convert it into first normal form, second normal form, and third normal form. The first thing that we'll want to do is get all of the data into a general relation schema. This relation schema probably won't be normalized at all. Since the form deals with just the customer, let's call the relation customer, and now we're going to start including the different pieces of information that we have. We have a customer name, we have a customer address below it, we have a customer phone number next to that, and then what we have here are nested pieces of information, because all this information together is related to this combination of the customer, the address, and the phone. Doesn't mean that it's dependent upon it, but it is related to it. So in order to represent this, we're going to include it in a group, like so. So we have the artist. What we're going to do is include it in a group. So I'm going to put it in parentheses, like so. And we'll have the artist ID, the artist name, we have the art title, the purchase date, and the price, all included in this group that is related to this customer information. As it stands, this is unnormalized because we have this nested bit of information here. Let's also add a customer number in front of the customer name. Now, in order to get this into first normal form, we have to get rid of this nested grouping. What you would do in the database is repeat all of this customer information with each of the purchases made. And so in order to signify that, what we're going to do is break out the nested information and also leave the original customer relation as well. So what we'll do is we'll first make a new relation that just has the unnested information, like so. We can call this one customer again, because it's only going to have the customer information in it. So customer, that will include customer number, customer name, customer address, and customer phone. Now when we break out the nested information, we'll have to include a way to relate it to the original customer relation. What we're going to do is create a new relation called customer art because we want to relate the two together. And as you can see, it's going to include the customer number, the artist ID, artist name, art title, purchase date, and price. We're also going to create an art code attribute in order to represent the art. And from here, we have to decide for this relation, what should the primary key be? What will uniquely identify the rest of the non-key attributes? Customer number serves as the primary key for the customer relation. In the customer art relation, we need to know the customer number, we need to know the art code that was purchased, and because customers can purchase a piece of art on different dates, we also need to know the purchase date. So our complete composite primary key for this relation is the combination of customer number, art code, and purchase date. Now from here we can see that we are in first normal form, and we have to ask ourselves, are we in second normal form? So do we have any partial key dependencies? Well, we do have this art code that uniquely identifies the artist name and the art title, and we have customer number, art code, and purchase date together as a primary key. So we do have a partial key dependency, that we need to get rid of in order to get into second normal form. So what I'm going to do is copy the current relation set and see if we can't further decompose this into second normal form. In order to do this, we have to get rid of that partial key dependency. So what we're going to do is take out the art code and put it in a separate relation called art, where art code will become the primary key. These all should be underlined. So I'll have art code, which determines the artist ID, the artist name, and the art title. Now the price of the piece of art might depend on other things. It might not depend just on the art itself, so we're going to leave that out of this relation. Since we've put these in here, I'm going to remove them from our customer art relation because they are non-key. We also need to leave a copy of the key that we removed in that table as a reference. So now we have three relations. We have the same customer relation that we had before, and then we broke up this customer art relation into two separate relations of customer art, which has a combination of customer number, art code, and purchase date as a primary key that determine the price. The price is dependent upon all three of these things. And then a relation just for the art, where the art code serves as the primary key to define the artist ID, the artist name, and the art title. Now we have to ask ourselves, are we in third normal form? Do we have any transitive dependencies? If we look at the customer table, we have customer number determines customer name, customer address, and customer phone. That seems to be all right. Here we have customer number, art code, and purchase date determines price. If we look at the art relation, we have art code determines artist ID, artist name, and art title. But we may also have art title determining the artist ID. So we do have a transitive dependency here. I'm going to further copy what we have down into the third normal form area. What we're going to do is break this art relation into two separate relations. So we take out the offending attribute here of artist ID and the artist name, which is determined by the artist ID, so that we have a separate relation just for the artist, where the primary key is the artist ID. The last thing that we need to do, however, is reinsert the artist ID as a foreign key in the art relation. So now we've taken care of what was likely a one-to-many relationship by creating a foreign key. Our final normal form, third normal form, we have four separate relations: customer, customer art, art, and artist. And each one we've taken out the partial key dependencies and the transitive dependency. Now it could be argued that we left customer address and we could have broken that up into separate pieces, but it wasn't necessary to do so here.